Good afternoon to the green men and women of the Isle of Faces. I hope you're well. Episode 1, Winterfell, is in the books, and what a doozy. So good that we had to come back again and talk about it. Obviously this is another bonus episode. We don't normally do this so regularly, but there's only 5 left. Might as well get our talking in now. Before we get on to the episode itself, just need to say, did not expect our little bonus episode on Sunday to be so popular. Proved to be one of our most popular episodes. A really nice surprise. If you missed it, I had my dearest wife, Lady Buckley, come on, and we talked about possible conclusion arcs for some of the minor characters: Bronn, Podrick, Missandei, Gillian, Gendry. Those guys didn't get too much of the spotlight on Sunday. Maybe a bit of Bronn. And if you do want to have a listen to me being completely right about Bronn and my dear Lady Buckley being completely wrong, please do go and have a listen about that. Since it was so popular, and we haven't broke up, so must have enjoyed it to some degree, and we enjoyed episode 1 so much, we thought, why not try it again? So that's what we're going to do, either until you get sick of us, or we get bored, or our dog starts demanding more attention than she already does. So what we're going to do is continue doing mini bite-sized episodes on certain aspects of the show, of the episode. There's obviously 100 or more podcasts and live streams going out from all the names that you already know from the fandom. I definitely encourage you to go check them all out, because there's a reason they're the big guns. They're all great. All these podcasts are great takes, great catches, theories, everything else you'd need. But we thought we'd do something a little bit different, like we do on the Isle of Faces, and do some little podcasts for those with not a lot of free time, or who just enjoy listening to married people argue. I mean, really, how many podcasts do you listen to that could easily end in divorce? Precisely. So, let me welcome back my real life wife, Lady Buckley. And you alright?
I'm not ready for this. I need to wake up.
How are you doing?
I'm still recovering from being up all night watching it.
2 days later.
Yeah, still recovering. 2 o'clock in the morning. Can I instead ask you how you feel about watching the last ever first episode?
I'm very sad it's the last ever first episode, but I was very happy to finally see it. I loved it, personally. Oh, it was great.
I'm surprised you didn't cry in excitement.
I was inside. I just like to appear manly. So on today, episode 5 of Isle of Faces, we're going to talk about one particular aspect of episode 1, or about Winterfell. I've written some of these down on a piece of paper, my lady, so if you would like to pick one, and we can see which we get.
Okay.
Come on. What's it say?
Reunions.
Reunions. Okay, good choice. So reunions were a pretty big part of the episode, probably the main aspect, except for everything Targaryen-y. So, Lady Buckley, I'm going to test you here. Can you remember all the reunions?
No.
Get your arms off the table. Can you remember all the reunions from episode 1? You are on the sand timer. Go.
So Jon with Bran.
Yep.
Jon with Arya.
Yep.
A little bit with Jon with Sam.
Yep.
Obviously not as much at that one. Jaime and Bran, big one.
Yep.
Arya and Gendry.
Yep.
Arya and the Hound.
Yep. I got 2 more by my count.
If you count Theon and Asher.
No, I didn't count that.
Well, that is a reunion. She has been...
Yeah, not long enough. It's like a 2-episode reunion.
It's not 2 episodes. I know it's episodes, but in the scale of time, they've had to travel from King's Landing up.
Well, I didn't count anyway, so you've still got 2 to go. Give up?
Yeah.
Sansa Tyrion.
Oh, yeah.
And Jorah Sam.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so we can go... Do you have a favourite out of all of these?
Well, from what we were talking about last time, I really liked that they did actually put in about Gendry and Arya.
Yeah.
Because we didn't think they would get much time, and it was kind of what we said, in that it's more looks and glances, and it's quite sweet in how they do it.
Even more than just glances, wasn't it? It was more full than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, but I'm glad that they did it, because, like we said, we discussed so many different ways in which they are a suitable couple and how they mirror what should have happened beforehand. And it's nice to see her smiling and a bit more character within her.
Yeah, well, she was smiling all the way through.
Yeah, but not at the very beginning when she first saw them all.
Yeah.
She looked really gutted in that she thought...
I think she was just worried about seeing Jon. Not that she was gutted they didn't see her.
Well, no, I felt more it was that she didn't know what to make of it.
Yeah.
I don't think it was that she was worried about it. I don't think she's really that type of person. She's full of confidence. She's not really got any worry.
Smiled when she saw the dragons.
Wouldn't you?
Yeah. For sure. Yeah, I liked the Arya Gendry reunion. I thought it was really good. Some of the good, better lines. Arya saying, "Don't know any other rich girls." What do you think she was asking him to make?
I don't know. It looked like something going into something else. Two pieces.
I thought it looked like Yondu's Finn from Guardians of the Galaxy. She's going to start whistling, taking out whites. That's what I'm thinking.
What else would you need? Is there some kind of like weapon faceless menus or something?
I don't know. It looked like a little spear type thingy, but little.
I don't know.
I don't know what else she needs. She's got the needle and the dagger already.
With her, it's more handheld things, isn't it? It's not going to be something long, and it was quite small.
She's already got all that, so I don't know what else it would be unless it's like kind of projectile.
But I'm wondering what it would be that it looked like, because there was an arrow pointing from one to the other saying that it was going to go inside or connect in some way. So if it's going to connect, do you think it's something to go over needle to make it kind of, to have some form of dragon glass in it? Yeah,
it could be. Could be a needle upgrade, I guess.
It's not a Valerian
That'd be quite
blade,
handy,
is it?
because I guess needle's not going to be very useful otherwise.
That's what I mean. It's not a Valerian steel blade, so it's not going to be good against the whites. Well, White Walkers.
True. Alright, well, so we've done Arya Gendry. So let's do Arya Hound. Give me one word for that reunion. Almost at the same time?
Well, I haven't got one word.
What's the game? Give me one word, and then we'll expand on it.
So Arya Sandor, I think with Arya Gendry, it was very much in the more romantic friendship way, but with him, it's much of a conflict in that they clearly enjoyed each other's company, but there was also the element where he was on her list originally. She did leave him to die and rob her, but at the same time he acknowledged that it's exactly what he would have done as well.
Yeah, I think that was probably the more underwhelming one. Like, nothing really happened. They just kind of looked at each other, said one sentence each, and then the Hound left.
I didn't find that underwhelming at all, though, because even though they did only have one line, I think, but it was very much what they would have done.
That's what I'm saying.
And she was putting him in his place and how he was dealing with Gendry.
That's what I'm saying, because it would have been, if you compare it to like Arya Jon or Arya Gendry, there's not much there, but that is fitting for those two. I think if they had done anything more, it probably would have been too much fan service. So even though it's not like it wasn't made as big of a deal, it probably does suit those characters.
Well, what I didn't understand from it is, why is Gendry making Sandor an axe? Why is he now using an axe?
Maybe he wants an axe.
But why? He always used a sword. I don't understand why he would suddenly pick up an axe.
Maybe he wants an axe. Someone's got to have an axe.
Yeah, but there's
Sandor's the new Thor.
It doesn't make any sense to me. Why it wouldn't just...
Well, that's a hammer, isn't it?
Yes. Why it wouldn't be... Tyrion has the axe, which is now with Pod. I don't understand why he's picking up an axe when he has a sword. It just doesn't make any sense to me.
I think it's a big deal. Okay, let's move from Arya to Jon. Jon had a lot of reunions. So Jon Bran, what do we think?
I think it was probably to be expected. It was very much him welcoming home his brother that he thought was dead, but Bran is still that emotionless character that he didn't realise. So in one sense, Jon didn't expect him to be the way he was. He expected to see his fun little brother, his version of what Arya is.
Yeah.
But he didn't get that. But still, the reunion itself is sweeter than I could have expected with Bran.
Yeah, it takes Bran to make Jon look like the really emotional, gushy one. You can see him like speeding his horse up, and he plants the big old smooch on Bran's forehead. But and then he realises he's a bit of a robot. But it's still less creepy than Bran's reunion with Sansa, so could have said some weird stuff to Jon and he didn't, so that was nice.
Well, he did, because he did say that we're wasting time.
Yeah, a bit later.
Yeah, but it was almost they were talking to Sansa and he said he quit and immediately we're wasting time.
Yeah, that's true though. Then he needs to say that. Didn't need to tell Sansa
no, but
about
the information he gave is very shocking, because actually Daenerys wouldn't have known that Viserion was brought back as a white.
They don't make it clear whether that has travelled, because they know the wall's down.
Yeah, but Bran says that.
No, but they already know, I think.
They know the wall's down, but they don't know that it's.
Well, we don't know that, do we?
But it was clear from her expression that she didn't know. It's clear from her expression that she didn't know.
If you say so.
I think you're just trying to wind me up today.
I'm not. That's what I'm saying.
You're just arguing with every point I'm trying to make.
Okay, the big one then. John, do you want to start, or do you want me to start?
I don't know. I know a lot of people said they were very underwhelmed by it. I wasn't.
Screw them.
Because they've had a lot of different character changes and who they are, and yet they had to grow up. When they ran and hugged each other when they left each other, she was very young, he was younger. So I think it was fitting for both their characters the way that they met.
I think it was perfectly done. I think it was the one thing I was really, really worried about them messing up before the season started. And they got out of the way really quickly, and it was perfect. Like them showing each other their swords. When she sneaks up and asks how he survived a knife in the heart, and he says he didn't. It was pretty dark. And then she just breaks into a smile anyway and runs and hugs him. And it was a bit sad when he asked like if she'd ever had to use needle. You can kind of see her remembering everything we've seen. That's a bit sad, but I think it was spot on. That was the best one, in my opinion, John and Arya. Alright, what about John and Sam and their cool crypt cuddle?
I think it was nice to see. He welcomed him just as much as he did Bran, any other of his brothers and sisters. It was nice that it's very clear even at this point that he still sees Sam as his family. Even though he's not a member of the Night's Watch anymore, he still sees him as a brother. And the emotions he felt from the conflict between Daenerys and Sam were evident for John, and he showed his inner struggle within that, saying about whether he would have done it, whether he wouldn't have. I thought it was quite a strange question to ask Sam, for Sam to ask him.
I think he's just trying to get he's obviously pretty angry, isn't he? And he's trying to almost get John to be angry with him. Because he's pretty upset.
I just don't see why you would say that when you know that he didn't know, he wasn't aware of what had happened, he didn't know the full situation of what happened, and John made it clear that he has executed people, he has pardoned people, it depends on the situation, he wasn't the one to do it, it's not his judgment to make.
Yeah, I like that when they say that about John either pardoning or not pardoning, and John says like he wasn't a king or whatever. Like it turns quickly of them being really happy to see each other. Like you say, it does look like they're brothers, and then it's straight into the serious talk, and that's kind of where the episode starts flipping towards the more serious stuff, rather than everyone being really happy to see each other. They don't make it very clear whether Sam is actually still part of the Night's Watch though, because when he talks to Daenerys and he says he needs a pardon, I thought he was going to ask for a pardon from the Night's Watch, because he's not supposed to be at Winterfell if he is part of the Night's Watch. Not that they now it doesn't matter.
Well, they've called all the Night's Watch there anyway.
Yeah, no, but before, like, he didn't bother going back to Castle Black. He just stopped at Winterfell.
No, but John was expecting him to be in Old Town, so he clearly sees him as still part of the Night's Watch. He sent them there to be a maester for the Night's Watch, to replace Maester Aemon, but actually his presence there, John was shocked by him being there. So I would consider him still to be part of the Night's Watch, but in his mission to try and give the information that he thinks is key. But then with him having knowledge of the White Walkers, having seen them, having killed one, I don't know why he would prioritise coming back to tell John about whether he's king, when actually we're talking about the Great Battle rather than the Game of Thrones.
Yeah, I guess maybe that's going to be the distraction, isn't it? That they're all going to get pulled into this like Daenerys drama slowly, because I think that's just going to build up. But also with those two, I don't think it's easy to forget how long they've actually been apart. It was all before Hardhome and everything else that they last saw each other. It's been like nearly half the time, and they were apart they were apart for ages before that anyway. When John was with the Wildlings, so they've been apart quite a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. And two small ones then. Sansa Tyrion. Any thoughts on that one? That was short and sweet.
Yeah, I think that with those two, it was him trying to kind of make amends with her. He wasn't going to relive anything that had happened.
No.
He was just more being the kind of stand-up Lannister, as it were, like he was when they were married, and trying to rectify that because they're now working as allies, trying to actually use what he was using as a good nature beforehand when he was her husband, to try and mend some of the rift with Daenerys by showing, well, look, I support her, I'm doing that, I want to mend whatever animosity you feel towards me.
Yeah, didn't work too well, did it? I think that's what he was aiming for, but Sansa still kind of got a guard up about Lannisters and now Daenerys as well, so it didn't work.
I just think with every situation, Sansa has acted childish. In that whole episode, I found her really childish.
I don't think she's being childish in this. Yeah, like, you can say that about her before, but I don't think in this one, because she is right.
No, I think she was being really childish in her actions.
I think Daenerys is being childish with, like, my dragons can eat whatever they want.
Oh, it was in a reaction to what Sansa had said, because Sansa's the one who's spending last season saying, we need more men, we're never going to do this, we need more men. Jon brings more men, well, how do we feed him? I've done all this.
Was she saying that?
Yeah, she's
saying that for the Battle of the Bastards.
No, yeah, she was saying at all times, we need more men to fight this war, do you think we've got enough? And he said, no, I don't think we'd win. She's turning around now as soon as they've brought help, and being the first one to turn around and just say, well, why do we need you?
I don't think that is what she's saying, but she knows how it works, and she knows he has messed up giving up his King of the North title, because he probably didn't really need to. If they'd still brought the White back and Daenerys had still come to save them, which she probably would have, I don't think she'd be like, well, I'm not fighting this horrible army of the dead unless you kneel to me. Because she's kind of putting her power above. It doesn't matter. Well, like, that's what Jon's saying.
Do you think about Daenerys in this situation? She's just brought all her army that she's worked the entirety of 7 seasons to get.
Yeah.
To talk about her claim and stuff. She's giving up her claim right now. She's putting that to one side to support them. And as soon as she walks into Winterfell and sits down into this, Sansa, well, what do they eat? What do they do? It's childish. It's
not childish. It needs to be spoken about. What? Because they don't have food for them.
But instead of thinking about strategies of doing what can they do, what's the logical way, well, how can we go about this, she's just complaining.
I don't think it's childish.
It is. Everything that she said.
I agree that
really
Daenerys
childish.
is for all. Like, she's going to save them.
You're not seeing it from Daenerys' point of view. Imagine sitting there and the person you've brought all these people to help just goes, well, I've provisioned this for the people I think are going to be here. What are you going to do?
Well, because I would be thinking...
It's childish. She's going to throw it in your face.
It's what Jon said on the way up. Like, they don't trust outsiders. They've got good reason. Half her family were burnt by Targaryens or Lannisters, which she's also bringing. I know that wasn't her idea, but you can see how they would see it. Targaryens come first. And then Lannisters, it doesn't look good. Last time their king went south, like 3 years ago, he was butchered by Lannisters. So you can see, so was Ned. So you can see why they would all be like, well, I'm not too happy about this. Daenerys can't just be like, I'm here now.
Right, but you're saying this about Lannisters. Daenerys isn't a Lannister.
Yeah, but they're going to see it. They're going to look at it at the same time.
No, they're not going to see it at the same time, though, is she? Because if Sansa actually thinks about it, who killed, like, Daenerys' father? A Lannister. Who killed Rhaegar's wife and children?
Yeah.
The Lannisters.
Yeah, fine.
It wasn't the Targaryens that, oh yeah, this is our fight.
We can't just remember half of it and not the rest. Who killed her grandfather?
Right. But who
killed her uncle?
If we're saying that, what about all the things that Sansa's done?
What's Sansa done?
All you're doing is saying that Sansa is this... She was pathetic and childish in that scene. You've got to admit.
No, I don't agree. I don't admit.
She was.
No, I don't think she was at all. I think she's right.
I don't think she is.
I can see why they're being annoyed with Daenerys. Daenerys has been really cocky, I think.
Right. Okay, I can see about that and her how she's been cocky and stuff, but she hasn't even said a word yet. And Sansa's first thing is to go about, well, I've done all of this. What are you doing? Well, no, I've not just brought all my armies and all my things to try and support you, to try and defend your people. She hasn't even considered that. She was rude straight from the off.
I think it's because she knows that their hold on Winterfell and the North is tenuous. And all, because you can see, like, Lyanna Mormont was pissed.
Yeah, but why are you considering that when you've got the Army of the Dead to fight?
Because that's what Sansa has learned. She knows how to rule and how to work this game, and Jon doesn't. He's not very good at it.
Yeah, but what's the point in the game?
Because they need the North together. There's no point in them losing the plot with the North now. Everyone goes home, because you saw what happened to little Ned. They need to be on one page.
Everyone goes home, they all die.
Yeah.
Right? So instead of going, we need to act politically and do this, we go, well, you do this or you're dead. This is the option. Which is what the whole point of Jon said.
But that doesn't matter. It's all very well saying, all right, do this or you're dead, and then, right, so what if people go, all right, fine, we'll go home. Then you're all dead. That's not how to rule. Sansa knows how to rule. Jon doesn't. He hasn't learned that.
Right. How does Sansa know how to rule? Who did she learn from?
Cersei, Baelish.
Terrible. Don't know how to rule.
Was Baelish terrible? He did pretty well. He was a terrible person, but he did it well.
No, he didn't.
Yes, he did.
He
came from nothing.
Everything was based on corruption. Why was that?
Well, fine, but he got there.
Right, so you're pointing out the two people that she learnt how to rule from
Yeah.
are two of the worst people within the show.
Worst morally, but she's not morally.
And politically.
How is Peter Baelish bad politically?
He started it.
Yeah, exactly. He organised an entire war specifically just to get him in a better place.
Right.
So that's good, isn't it? He's
how?
good at that job.
Because he's called dissemination rather than actually...
Yeah, but no, you're saying that's a bad thing to do morally. I agree. But did he do really well getting himself from point A to point B? Yes, better than anyone.
At what point did he ever combine anyone? This is what you're saying Sansa's doing, because she apparently knows how to do it. What point did he ever get, oh, let's bring all these loyal people together. This is how I'm going to do it.
Well, the Lords of the Vale are still in the North. He seems, what's his face?
That's nothing to do with him. That's because she killed him, and she revealed.
He got him there.
She revealed they got there through duty.
No, they didn't. He literally went to Robin, threatened what's his face again, and said, right, let's take the Knights of the Vale to the North, which he then gave to Sansa.
Right. So, yeah. So if it's true that they've come up for loyalty for him, when he said, "I am Lord Protector of the Vale, I demand you take me back," why did they say no?
Because by then they transferred to Sansa because she knows how to play the game. She knows how to play the game. She's the best game player left. Arya says it, didn't she? That she's the smartest person Arya knows.
No, she said that she says that because she's being loyal to her family.
Yeah, but she's not just straight up lying just so she can say something nice about Sansa. Sansa's managed to survive all these horrible situations, and the other characters probably would because she's learned how to play the game. That's her role now. She's the Lady of Winterfell, and she's clocked on to stuff that Jon hasn't clocked onto, like probably should have kept hold of that King of the North crown to keep everyone happy, because now they're all pissed at me again.
Yeah, but you do that in favour of having Daenerys and her armies.
But I don't think he needed to do that. I think he probably could have got Daenerys anyway.
But
because that's why Sansa asks, alright, did you do that because you thought this is the only way to save the North, or did you do it because I could get myself some Targaryen tail here?
No, but that's not true though, is it? Because if you saw the last season, it wasn't a relationship or anything like that until later on, until after they'd worked together.
Yeah, but I just don't think he had to give up being King of the North. Because he says, like, it doesn't matter, but that's apparently only applying to one half of the equation. If he truly believes it doesn't matter, then it shouldn't balance to Daenerys either, should it? That's what Sam says at the end. Like, you're willing to give up your crown to save your people with Daenerys?
Yeah,
if there was a situation where Daenerys had to literally stop being queen, like there is because Jon's actually the king, or go home, which is she going to choose?
But why does she have this? I don't understand this at all. Why would she have to give it up instead of just saying, right, at this point in time, it doesn't matter who's king, who's queen, who's got the biggest right, who's got any of this.
I agree, that's what they should do, yeah, you're right.
Who's got any of this right to do any of these things, then why should she give it up right now? Why should she say, oh, I'm not the queen, he's the king, let's just ignore all of this? Well, no. At this point in time, she's brought all these people across, all these people who have faith in her, because she is going to be the rightful ruler of the Seven Kingdoms, and she's going to defend the rest of the living world. But if she can't do that because they go, no, actually, you're not really the queen, it just breaks away all of the armies that she's brought across, because she hasn't brought across people who have sworn allegiance for thousands of years. She's earned their allegiance.
That's true.
So why would it make any sense for her to give up her crown when in favour of him?
Well, it didn't really make any sense for him to give it, because if he doesn't, let's say he said, no, I'm not giving up, I'm staying the King of the North, and she says, all right, well, we're not coming then. It's not, yeah, okay, Jon and the North, they die first, but Daenerys still dies. They all still, she wants to be the Queen of Westeros. Westeros still dies. They both need to mutually help each other.
Yeah, but she was doing it in the sense that she wanted him to back her claim. She didn't want to come across and have it divided again. Because you're right, like you said before, you're saying that Sansa's the best player in the game. Well, at what point is Jon going to get overthrown by her because he, as the King of the North, hasn't gone with Daenerys, or Sansa sees it a different way?
I don't think she's going to overthrow him, but that was like the threat that they had last time. That's what Baelish kept trying to suggest to her. Like, yep. Oh, maybe you should rule the North.
Or who's she learning from though? Baelish and Cersei. Who's Sansa going to say, actually, this is what I can do? He's got all these threats up in the North. Why would Daenerys not want a unified front to be able to work together? Why would she allow, I'm going to come across, actually, no, what I'm going to allow you to do is I'm going to allow all of you to do what you want and then go against me? Because the North sided with Robert in the rebellion. Right, so why would she want them to be completely, with this, a lot of powerful families, to be allowed to be separate?
Well, I think it's that, like, Sansa has held the North together, and every experience she's had, someone outside the family, like, they eventually betray you and screw you over. So she's naturally wary of outsiders, because, like, she's seen this happen already. It's the same thing. That's why, like, everyone was really mad at Rob, because he went south and he was doing really, really well, and then he found a girlfriend and it all went to pot. So they're a bit worried that Jon's done the exact same thing. Goes south, finds a girlfriend, goes to pot.
When has Sansa held the North and unified
when Jon's gone. Since Jon's gone.
Right. How long's he been gone?
Well, most of a season.
Right.
Most of season 7.
You said this to me, that it wasn't that long. He unified them. He brought them all together. He brought everything together. Him and Davos.
With Sansa's help, they would have died on the Battle of the Bastards otherwise.
But why didn't she make knowledge of that aware?
Well, yeah, that's a completely different. We've gone very off topic.
Yeah, but it's because that she has too many characteristics at the moment in the way that she's acting. From just those first lines, if we go back to them, her first lines are a manipulative way to try and gain power.
Oh, the first lines are saying, "Winterfell is yours, my grace."
No. What we were talking about.
All right. Oh, should we agree to disagree on that and move on? Because that's all just come out of the Sansa Tyrion reunion, like 20 minutes ago.
Because you disagree that I think that her behaviour is not thinking about the greater good. She's thinking about power and what power she can gain from little slide words, which is what she learned from those two that you're saying that are her mentors, which means she's really, really got good at ruling. I don't think that is true at all. She's burning her bridges early on because she doesn't want to. Why would she say these things to Tyrion? Why would she not think, well, actually, yeah, I did leave and leave you to nearly be killed?
Oh yeah, I do think she maybe should have been a bit more sincere in her apology. But although, like, even though he was nice to her, she still was his prisoner. She didn't elect to marry him.
But she was aware that he didn't want anything to do with it.
I know, but it's tough to see that as a. I'm not actually sure if Tyrion. I'd have to go back and check if Tyrion's ever been told that it wasn't Sansa. It was Olenna and Baelish. I don't know if that's ever come across, because they definitely have a bit more reason to be annoyed and be like, well, you could at least say sorry. But yeah, she doesn't anyway. Like, that was a long one. Let's do much quicker. We'll do Jorah and Sam. Was that nice to see Jorah and Sam?
Yeah, it was really lovely that Jorah had thought to bring Daenerys along and thought to reward him in a way and show that, look, this is the person that helped me. He didn't have to help me. He did. It could have, obviously, he could have transferred grayscale to himself, and he didn't. He thought about the great good. But along with it, it brought in the Daenerys troubles with Sam.
Yeah. I suppose Jorah's not to know that. Well, I don't know. I don't remember if Sam ever told him his surname. But yeah, it was nice or intended nice by Jorah to come and say thanks. I thought that could have easily been a connection that they just forgot to include. But
as Sam's first his kind of bumbling way of trying to, who am I? What man? I thought it was brilliant because it's really on line with his character, and it was really endearing into, well, he's still there reading, he's still trying to follow on what he wanted to do.
Yeah. But
at the same time, he does show the proper loyalties that he should. Yeah,
it's almost high. He's, like you say, he's finally in a place where he wants to be. He's just sat in the library and doing his reading, and he's all polite. And you kind of see him hear the news, and it goes bad, and he's still actually trying to be polite and bumble his way out of there. It's pretty hard to see him turn like that. Yeah, we came out looking really angry, and then he was going somewhere, and then he nearly got ran over, and saw Bran's boss now, I guess, and they told him what he needed to do, and off he went.
But with that, I think I understand what he was saying in that Sam should tell him that he's just as much of a brother, but actually it didn't make any sense to me that why it should come across from Sam alone. Why would it be better for him to get this one-on-one information rather than it being something that is brought to him from Bran, who has more of the first-hand information with Sam? Why is he doing it on his own?
Well, I think he puts Sam forward because, like he says, Sam's the one he's going to trust. He actually knows Sam a lot better than Bran, especially Bran now. He doesn't really know Bran. I don't think, like Mr. Monotone, Bran is going to have any kind of persuasive skills. He just state it and then leave, probably. Whereas Sam can actually kind of convince him.
Yeah, but that's why I was saying that they tell him, but why would you not have Bran tell him the factual things and then Sam used what he found to reinforce that? Because at the moment he's just going off, well, what evidence is it that what Bran says is true? What have they got to know? Because as far as they're aware, as far as I'm aware that they know, what is Bran at this point?
Well, yeah, I guess they're going to have to get Bran in to prove it all, probably soonish, but today we'll see how that happens. Speaking of Bran, the last reunion, both on our list and in the show, was right at the end. Jaime arrives looking like the spy guy from A New Hope, jumps off his horse, sees Bran straight away, and you see the look on his face when he clicks. I thought that was pretty good way to end the episode, and pretty cool. The whole episode is a kind of a throwback to the pilot, and that's obviously how the pilot finished, was the last time those two were together.
I think it does show a parallel to what you're saying with the first episode, in that Jaime doesn't come with the full retinue, he comes on his own on a horse. And it is fitting that when he first came up, he was all in gold with his bright blonde hair, clean shaven, and now this time he comes up, he's all in black.
He looks the opposite, yeah.
Completely opposite, and he comes in smiling. He comes in smiling, and he's looking around and he's happy, and his face drops when he sees Bran, because it's the past version of him. Past version of him would never have left Cersei, would never have come up to help him.
Be interesting to see what happens.
Yeah, I think they're gonna
be buddies.
I think they're gonna put him. Bran's a completely different person now. I think they're gonna put him on trial. He's gonna be offered to take the Black, which doesn't make too much of a difference at this point in time with the Night Watch being at Winterfell.
Yeah, it's not really much of a Black to take, is there? I think they're going to be buddies because Bran's been waiting specifically for him, so I think he's got some use for Jaime in some way. Well, we've ran well over time because we started arguing, but so we'll wrap it up there. We'll come back in a couple of days with different aspects that we'll probably argue about as well. Any closing thoughts, Lady Buckley, that we might agree upon? Just enjoy the episode.
I love the episode. I think it's very good for them to get all of these reunions done out the way quickly.
Yeah.
It's not going to be dragged out and thinking, well, it's 3 days later, why are they still just seeing Gendry? Why are they still just seeing the Hound? They've met them now, so that there's a lot more kind of play that can be done. I think there was a lot of different ones that could have been done, but the way they did it was good.
Yeah, and they got a lot of like the early questions. Will we see this? They got it out pretty much straight away, which is good because I think probably next episode we'll just see all this wiped away anyway.
Well, yeah, it is Game of Thrones.
Yeah, but before that we'll probably have another episode, maybe two, talking about different parts of episode 1, Winterfell. Would you like to sign off? No? All right. You can shake your head and leave. Okie dokie, you've just listened to myself and Lady Buckley argue about stuff we weren't even supposed to be chatting about. But there you go. Such is marriage. Next time we'll try and keep it a bit more on topic, but I hope you enjoyed our little recap of the reunions. We'll tackle a different aspect next time, so make sure you come back and hear us not talk about that at all and just argue about stuff instead. Hope you enjoyed and come back soon.